Now, building on from here, the question was asked about complacency. You talked about the winning run at home for West Ham. How hard is it to maintain consistency in Premier League football? Because I look at Manchester United when you were there. 3 Premier League titles in a row. And no manager has been able to repeat that since. No team has been able to win the Premier League title in consecutive seasons. It speaks wonders, the fact you could do it 3 years in a row.
I think it was, we had a mix of youth, experience, and players in a good age, I would say middle of their career, the best time of their career. So we still have a hunger, which is very important. I think if you want to win the trophies, to be consistent for long term, you have to have that mix. And we had that, and we have a players as Ronaldo, mentioned before, Wayne Rooney, players that very young, very excited, hungry players that want to prove how good they are. And as well, Rio Ferdinand, Patrice, myself, Michael Carrick. So we had players that they want to prove themselves every year. And when you win the first one, then we get confident that we can do it. And confidence is a big part in sport and in football.
What role did the manager have in this, Sir Alex? Because you look at Mourinho, he's won trophies everywhere that he's been at, but players seem to get tired of him. Players seem to burn out with Jose Mourinho. He has that third season syndrome. Guardiola, to an extent, it seems that sometimes the players may be getting a little bit tired of him when he was at Bayern, and he said himself the players needed a break from him at Barcelona, and he took a year off.
I think they're both of them. I think they're demanding managers, and they have a high expectations. They're winners, and of course, especially Mourinho, other clubs he has been, he always have high expectation from himself. But media, fans, and club, they have expectation for him to deliver the trophy. So, and that's transferred to the players. I think Sir Alex Ferguson was for 20-something years, 25 years in the club, so I think it's a different situation.
So how did he motivate?
Because he has a time to build the team the way he wants, and then to come to the club, and then you know that maybe this season is very important. Maybe you will not have next season. So I'm not taking anything away from any of those managers, but it's not easy to stay long at the club at this time, and especially for the new generations of the managers.
I mean, I'll put this in perspective. Gary was playing when Sir Alex took over at Manchester United. You were at Tottenham at the time, weren't you?
Yeah.
And Manu was there when Sir Alex retired. I mean, just think of the golf, how many games he's overseen, how many players have come through the doors.
It's an incredible period of time. You know, Arsene Wenger did very similar at Arsenal, of course, based on that period.
But not to the success of Sir Alex.
Not with the same success, totally agree. You know, it's very difficult to win the Premier League. It's extremely difficult to retain it, and of course Manchester City might do that this season. But to win it 3 consecutive seasons, well, it's unprecedented, isn't it? And I think when you look back to Sir Alex Ferguson's time at the club, you know, he did rebuild teams. It wasn't as if it was the same team for that long period of time, because it's not feasible. But he rebuilt teams, he refreshed things, he changed his coaching staff as well. You know, so, you know, Brian Kidd was his assistant for a period of time, and it moved on, and Steve McLaren was there, and it moved on, and Mullenstein was there. You know, so that was being refreshed. I think also Sir Alex Ferguson changed his style a little bit, maybe not always through choice, but because actually he became an older man, so his style did naturally change as well. So I think there was an element of naturally refreshing it, but overall I think you have to say it was genius from Sir Alex. Absolute genius.
I just can't figure out how he kept the players motivated. Obviously, I've never played football. Just the motivation, the hunger to keep you wanting more and more and more and more.
But that also comes from the player, doesn't it?
Yeah, but as well from him. He was, I don't know, I'm not sure, 70 years old when he was the manager at Man United. And he has a hunger. If you see when he scored the goal, the way he celebrates as well. So he has this energy in himself. So he transferred to the players. But like you said, he changed his staff. I think he's the first manager who introduced a sports scientist, I think, in the Premier League.
Possibly, yeah.
One of the first.
Either him or Wenger.
So then, actually, he was always ready to change and to adapt to the football, because he understood that football was going forward. The new generations, they think different, and he liked to listen to people as well, young people, their minds, and to learn from them, but as well to put in his needs. So he was great at this. So. No, it's to stay, to win the titles 3 years in a row, like you said, is important to rebuild the teams, and teams that they be hungry to do that. And you need young players who bring that energy and desire to the team, that positivity, which is very important, especially in the trainings. I know myself, when I was 30 years old, I started a bit thinking about going to the trainings. I couldn't no more give 100% in the training. I have to save something for the game. That's why you need young players. Young players then pushing all the players to perform. Otherwise, if they don't perform, you cannot play.
You weren't training much at all towards the end of the time at United.
Because I had a lot of injuries.
And he let you do that, and then he just let you play
because he has to manage the players, because he understood that Ryan Giggs, myself, Rio Ferdinand, we had a lot of injuries, and especially me and Rio with the back. So he was managing our situation, and we didn't train as much in last stages of careers.